One of my favorite things about being in business is that I get to learn new mental frameworks for all kinds of things. I love realizing and introducing new frameworks to myself that once I learn them, I start trying to implement them right away. And I love to see the results of that, because whenever I implement a new framework into not only the way I operate, but into the way the entire business operates, I start seeing with my own two eyes and looking at the revenue, and I'm looking at all the results that it produces, and it's very awesome to see the end result. So I get super excited and pumped when I learn new mental frameworks. And if you want to learn to use how to apply this framework into your business, keep watching till the end of this video. What's going on, everybody? My name is Karthik, and I'm the Chief Operations Officer for UZMindset. So I want to talk to you today about the law of averages. Law of averages, you say? It's a very interesting concept. So the law of averages basically indicates, and it tells you that the more items you have to get an average of, the more accurate your data is going to be. Let's use a pressure washing example. I'm only going to use this as a small example, so it's just hypothetical, but let's run with it. So let's say you've done 3 house washes. The first one is $500, second one is $1,000, and the third one is $750. So in real life, you're going to want to use more than just 3 items, but still, this mindset will still apply. So for this example, you did 3 house washes, and you did 500, 1,000, and 750. So what you do is you add up all those dollar amounts, and you divide it by 3, because that's the number of house washes you've done. What that tells you, the information that it tells you, is that you averaged $750 per house wash. How is that information useful? Well, in this small example, it may not seem useful, but in the long run, let's say you extrapolate many months worth of data. You've done 3 months worth of house washes, and you start adding up all the house washes, and then you divide it by how many house washes you've done. That gives you how much you can expect per revenue, how much revenue you can expect per house wash. So when you extrapolate that in the future, you know mentally to prepare, okay, this guy's asking for $300 house wash, but my average revenue is going to be $750. If I sell a house wash for $300, will I still profit in the long run? So you can use this information and say, I am doing this house wash for $300, I'm doing less work, but in the long run, it's going to skew my data. But in reality, like, that doesn't really matter as much, but it's just kind of a way to think about this. So in another sense, there was a time a few months ago when I wanted to know how many 12 by 18 yard signs were being purchased. I was really surprised about the results. At that time, we were promoting 12 by 18s tremendously. It was our lost leader. Basically, we advertised 100 signs for $99, and people were ordering it left and right because that's what we were advertising. I started looking at the numbers. I thought to myself that there was a lot more revenue than actually it was. So in my mind, I'm thinking people were ordering 2 colors, front and back, 12 by 18s, but in reality, people were just ordering 12 by 18s, 1 color, 1 side. So what I ended up thinking to myself is this revenue that we're bringing from this, is it effective? Are the customers happy? I started seeing customers complaining about it being a little too small, 12 by 18s. So then I started thinking to myself, okay, what did the numbers say? I started averaging the number of orders that were 12 by 18, and I realized that people actually would prefer 18 by 24. So what that did was it essentially increased the revenue based on how many orders that there were. Another way to use the law of averages is to take how many employees you have and then take your yearly revenue and then divide it with each other. Let's say you're bringing in $100,000 a year as a company and you have 5 employees. If you divide 100,000 by 5, you're essentially coming up with each employee is worth $200,000 in revenue. So this information is very useful, because if you take this information and you start hiring, you want to hire and implement things in business that's exponentially growing. You don't want to add something, because if you're adding something, you're just adding the same amount, and essentially you're not scaling. You're growing, yes, but you're adding. If you want to scale, you have to find a way to exponentially keep that momentum up. Let's say you hire a 6th person, but you're only doing $110,000. So your average revenue per employee just dropped significantly. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but you just do 110,000 divided by 6. So you're not getting $200,000 in revenue per employee anymore. If you want to stay $200,000 in revenue per employee, you need to be making $120,000 in that year. Well, you can use the law of averages in so many different ways that you'd be surprised. it can actually help you gain some incredible insight into changes that you can make in your organization that you probably wouldn't have thought of before. So let's say, use this as an example. You are doing the math and you found out that each one of your customers orders 2 services. For the sake of this video, let's say they order the mowing and edging. Let's consider that 2 services. You do the math and you realize that you're getting about $100 for 2 services, so that's $50 per service. You want to increase your revenue and you're looking at your averages and you say, okay, I'm making $50 per service, so if I were to sell a 3rd service, am I able to get another $50? If you're thinking in this frame of thought, then you can actually go in to your process. You start playing back your sales process in your head. You start looking at the sales pitch that you've described and you've written down because you're making systems on how to sell lawn care. So you look to yourself and say, am I selling another service? Am I trying to promote a 3rd service? Or am I just focusing on mowing and edging? So that's when you can start thinking to yourself, right? You can start thinking to yourself, am I doing what is required for getting the next level? So I hope that video helped. I hope you're able to understand how to manipulate numbers to your advantage. So I encourage you, make everything dollar amount that you have or people that you have, every single piece of information that you have about your business, try to make an average for it. I honestly find it fun. Whenever I see 100 orders and I see the total dollar amount they spend, I always just mentally think to myself, oh, how much do they spend per order? Or if I see something for sale on Amazon and there's a 4-pack of computer mouse, let's say there's a 4-pack of computer mouse, well, I divide the total dollar amount with 4 to see how many it is per mouse. So aside from that, I hope this helped. I hope you get some good value from it. If you did, don't forget to subscribe. We love creating content for you. If you have any advice or any suggestions or a topic that you want to see, leave them in the comments and we love to hear your feedback and we may even make a video on it. So that's it from me. Take care.